What's up, everybody? JT Boiler here. Today, I'm going to be breaking down the Week 3 matchup with Purdue versus USC. Going to be a huge game for both sides. We're going to take a look at all the key information you need to know heading into the game, my X factors for Purdue going into this week, and my final score prediction as well. So make sure you tap in. As we start to look at this matchup, USC is coming into Ross-Ade Stadium to play Purdue this Saturday, September 13th at 3:30 Eastern Time. So a nice mid-afternoon game. Should be awesome weather. Purdue is 2-0. USC is 2-0. They've actually had a pretty similar slate so far, both opening up the year with an FCS opponent, then transitioning to a smaller FBS opponent for week 2. Both teams have won pretty solidly, USC a little bit more so even. Overall, when we look at this series, Purdue's played USC 4 times. They've won once. Their last meeting was a pretty sweet matchup between Drew Brees and Carson Palmer, two future NFL quarterbacks, where USC got the best of Purdue. But that's been a little bit, so let's see how this is going to go this year. When we look at USC and their season so far, they have been absolutely crushing it. They've played an FCS opponent their first week, and then FBS Georgia Southern last week, but they have been absolutely destroying these lesser teams, winning by an average of 49.5 points per game, so over 7 touchdowns as their margin of victory, which means they're absolutely crushing it, both offensively and defensively. Now, quarterback Jade Mayava is a huge part of that, where he's leading the Big Ten in passing yards and passing touchdowns. He's top 5 nationally in passing yards, and top 10 nationally in passing touchdowns, and that's really with him not playing much at all in the second halves of these games. So he's doing really well, and the reason why he can do so well is one, because Lincoln Riley is his play caller, who is awesome at that, but second is he has some of the best wide receivers in the Big Ten. Mekhi Lemon is a 5'11", 200 wide receiver who is electric with the ball in his hands, super fast, super athletic, one of the best wide receivers in the Big Ten, and he's leading USC in receiving so far. On the other side of things, wide receiver Jacoby Lane is also really, really awesome. He is 6'5", 6'6", huge target for Mayava and a great red zone threat that absolutely mossed somebody last week. So both really big talents, people that Purdue have not had to face similar players as at all so far. The only time Purdue is ever going to be challenged in the same kind of way by this level of wide receiver will be against Ohio State. And Ohio State has Jeremiah Smith. So that's the kind of conversation we're having here. So their offense is going to be pretty dang good. It's going to be a huge test for Purdue's secondary and for their defense overall. When we look at USC on the defense side of the ball, they haven't really done anything to stand out incredibly, right? They've played these these cupcake opponents, and they've done really, really well against them, especially just getting pressure in the backfield, right? The most sacks in the Big Ten, the most tackles for loss in the Big Ten. When you go back and watch these games too, they're doing it a lot of different ways. Some are off blitz, some are just off 4-man pressures, all kinds of things. They've got some good players in that front 7 that I think really can make a difference and threaten Purdue and their O-line. However, I don't really know if their defensive backfield has been tested a whole lot. I mean, they're obviously getting better than things Purdue's faced so far, and Purdue's passing game has been good but not great. So it'll be an interesting matchup to keep your eyes on. For Purdue going into Game 3, I think one of the biggest storylines is the fact that they are tied for the least penalized team in the Big Ten. Right? They are disciplined. They are doing well at not beating themselves, and I think that goes a huge way. They need to keep continuing to do that heading into this game against USC. Now, also a big storyline on offense, Devin Mockabee. He is leading the Big Ten in carries, so he is a huge part of this offense that needs to continue to get rolling, right? His first game was pretty good. Last game was even better. Let's hope that that momentum can carry over, and with the more touches he gets, the more this offense can build around him, the even better things get, we can hope, right? When we look on defense here, Purdue is 3rd in the Big Ten in sacks, so they've been doing a really good job at also getting in the backfield against these lesser opponents. But they haven't forced any turnovers yet. So they've played solid overall on defense, I think. Obviously the first 2 drives against SIU were rough, but really they've went 6 of their 8 quarters without letting anybody score on them. And then they've had 1 quarter with 2 touchdowns and 1 quarter with a field goal, right? So they haven't really given up. They've given 17 points over 2 games. That is not bad. But they haven't forced any turnovers. Neither Ball State or SIU truly challenge them by pushing the ball down the field consistently. And this USC team with their elite wide receivers and good quarterback are going to do that. So they're going to need to be tested in a huge way, and I would love to see Purdue be able to come up with a turnover or 2 against Mayava. He's been good this year, 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, but last year he had a stretch where he was turning the ball over a lot. So if they can, get in there and make that happen a little bit, that would be huge for Purdue this week. Lastly, Barry Odom was Jaden Mayava's coach at UNLV for his freshman year, where he started at quarterback for them. Mike Schur, the DC for Purdue, was there as well. So hopefully have some insider information there on him, maybe a little bit of advanced scouting and a little bit of more information about how he plays, his tendencies, his habits, things like that, that might pay off in that way. But also, offense coordinator Josh Henson was the OC and the O-line coach at USC last year. So hopefully he has some familiarity with players, systems, and the way they do things that might also be able to give Purdue an upper hand. Those are some things I would keep an eye out for. Now, as we look at the keys to victory for Purdue, we are talking 3 things that need to happen if Purdue is going to be able to win on Saturday. First one, pressure Jaden Maiava, right? If they can get in the backfield, disrupt their plan, not allow those wide receivers to have time to go make plays, and force Jaden Maiava to make quick decisions, that can impact the game. He might turn the ball over, doesn't give them time to make those deep routes, and really take advantage of their elite talent on the outside. That would be the number one biggest key to me. Second is going to be winning time of possession. Purdue needs to play defense with their offense at times here. If they have a lead or if the game is close, they need to make sure that they are, taking their time on offense, running the ball, doing things to keep the ball out of USC's hands to allow them to win, right? The lower scoring this game is, the better chance Purdue has because they don't have the same elite offensive weapons that USC has, even if I really like our players. Last one is going to be outplaying USC with special teams, right? These are the kind of things that can keep you in a game you might not deserve to be in, right? Starting field position with the punt game and the return game and things like that can make a huge difference in how far Purdue has to drive to score versus how far USC might have to drive to score, right? And that's something Purdue has done throughout these first 2 games that I hope they continue to do here in game 3, right? If they can force USC to complete long drives and things like that, whereas Purdue might have shorter drives, it can make a huge difference in just the overall difficulty and outcome of the game. As much optimism I want to have and I would love to have, I still don't know if I can confidently say Purdue would win this one. My score prediction here is USC 41, Purdue 28. I do think our offense gets going. I don't think their defense has been elite enough to stop them completely, but I also don't think Purdue's offense has been good enough to outscore this USC offense. And so I just think unless Purdue can get in the backfield and make a lot of plays, sacking Maiava, forcing pressures, going to make him throw the ball away quick, things like that, it's going to be a long day. They run a really modern offense. Lincoln Riley is one of the best play callers in all of college football. And I just think that generally, unless USC comes in kind of sleepwalking, if they're on their game, Purdue doesn't win this, right? And so Purdue has to have some advantage with that special teams, something like that, to have a chance. But overall, in a clean game, I don't think I'm picking Purdue right now. So there you have it. That is my preview of the USC Purdue game coming up this Saturday. Let me know what you think in the comments. Did I miss something? Did I forget a player to talk about? Let me know. Also, drop your score prediction in the comments. If you want to see more like my reaction to the game and all kinds of stuff, make sure you subscribe and stay tuned for more Purdue content. Boiler up.